Video, I'm going to talk about kind of getting ready for the final set of drawings. And the first thing that we're going to do in this video is to look at the 3D view and generate an additional view from it. So right now I'm in the 3D view of the Revit model. And just to give you a little bit of, kind of big picture, this image is going to go on the cover sheet. You'll have your title block on the right, and then there'll be a drawing index just at the bottom towards the left of that text block that's over on the right side. So for this particular view, we want to position it so that we have some space down here. So first step is to duplicate the 3D view that's there. So I'm going to just click on duplicate. Okay, so now there's a copy, and I'm going to rename this exploded view. Okay, now there still exists the 3D view, and now there's this new exploded view. Now, as I mentioned, to make room for the drawing index, we want to rotate this to either this corner or this corner. This is the corner that we've sort of been working with all along, but you could also flip it over and do it from this way. So whatever is your preference. I'm going to flip it back to how we had it. Now, your model may have a little bit more detail on this with some openings and things like that, and I may come and add that at some point, but regardless, we can proceed with talking about this assignment. Okay, so first thing is, for those of you that don't have a topography, that's fine, because I'm actually going to take it and hide it in the view. So selected it, and I'm going to hit hide elements in view. So that's going to reveal a little bit more of the structural content behind it. And what we're doing with this exploded axonometric is we are kind of opening it up so we can see some of the details. So like this one in particular, it's all closed. We can't see the waffle slab or the column in the middle. And so what we're going to be doing here is opening that up. I'm also going to right click on these datums and hide them in the view. Okay, so I just have the structures that I'm working with. Okay, so what I'm going to do to show you kind of how this works is I'm going to choose a plane. And if you go to the modify ribbon, you'll see something called displace elements. And as you can see, this is exactly what this is for. Creates a view specific representation of model elements that can be displaced in the view. So I can click on that, and then I can pull elements away. Okay, now what you can see here is that, I made a separate wall layer for the interior face. Another option that you have in this process is to click on something and right click and override the graphics in the view. We're going to do this by element. I mean, there are other ways you can do this, but I would recommend that you just do it with the ones that I'm kind of suggesting, at least for now. Okay, so how transparent that wants to be, you can kind of play around with that. I'm going to hit apply and okay. So it's there, but you can't really see much of it, and you can see through it. Same thing would go for things like the roof insulation. They kind of conceal quite a bit of information. So I have the option of hiding it in the view, making it transparent, or moving it high enough that then I can take a peek inside the structure. Okay, so all those options are open to you. One last way that you can kind of clarify this particular type of drawing is to create some paths back to where the elements came from. Okay, so what I can do also then when I click on the component is there's a way to reset it back to where it was in its original form if you want to do that. But you can also click on the path and you can see what it's doing is it's drawing these little dashed lines to indicate where that particular element came from. Okay, so that those are basically the tools that you can use to expose certain things in the model here. And so I'll let you kind of figure out what you want to show, what you don't want to show. One thing to kind of keep in mind is it's helpful to include these paths, but if you don't include them, it's also good to have a kind of overlap. So for example, if I was to take this pile, the set of piles here, and use that 3D explosion tool and bring it down, if I don't have anything behind it, I can't really tell where in space it is. Is it forward? Is it backward? So the path lines can help, or to just simply allow for something to have an ever, a slight amount of some kind of overlap. Now that's too far because now it's higher than it was, but I think you kind of get the idea. So I'm going to take this one and pull it down a little bit, and then I'm going to click on the path tool and indicate sort of where it came from in its original position. Now, some things are a little bit difficult to select, like for the top of the slab over the waffle slab. When I first picked it on the top, it didn't let me modify that element. I had to make sure that I was picking from this bottom line so it would select the whole surface. And in this case, I just made this transparent. But keep in mind that if you hide something and you want to have it reappear, you can go to the Reveal Hidden Elements tool at the bottom and unhide the element, and then click on that again and it'll come back. So like for this one, I'd like to just show it as something that is pretty highly transparent. So there's just a suggestion of it, but it doesn't interfere graphically with other things I'm trying to show. And with transparent elements, you can still add the path to them after you've exploded them or pulled them away from the model. Some parts may be a little bit difficult to control their visibility. So, for example, with these hollow core slabs, there's the individual slabs, but then there's also a full slab that's the whole area here. And it's a little challenging to kind of select that. And you can try to tab through, but if you're not able to do it that way, what I would suggest is to click on one of them and click on one, right click, select all instances that are visible in the view and hide them. And then you should be able to come in here and pick the slab itself. Now, what's interesting from the construction standpoint is not this part, but it's those hollow core slabs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this one, and then I'm going to go to reveal the hidden elements, and I'm going to start unhiding, maybe not all of them, because I want to be able to see some of the details of the structure. I'll just try with those unhidden at this time, and I'll unhide them and turn this off. Okay, so now I can see some of them, and I had already altered their transparency. I could turn those back on, or make them untransparent or adjust the transparency a little bit. Overriding graphics by element. Actually, it looks like I didn't, so I could make them transparent from here. I'm not sure if they will show that. If I deselect I am seeing through them. And it may be because I changed the transparency setting previously for the full slab. It's probably what's happening here. So I'd have to turn that back on, adjust the transparency of that. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. So let's see if I can grab it there. Right click. Oh, yeah, I probably have to unhide it. Unhide element, and then go back and click on it, and it can let me select it now. Yeah, it did. I'm tabbing through. There we go. And then I'm going to adjust the graphics. Okay, so it says 0 surface transparency, so I'm not sure why I'm getting that effect. I'm going to hide it back in there. I probably have to undo all the way back and sort of investigate that. But what I want to happen is that I can see some of these precast columns and the corbels on top. So, you know, maybe it's best to hide one more of these in my case. Of course, you can show what you want to show with yours. And I can continue to tweak this one and the last one over there. One word of caution is to make sure that you don't actually delete anything, because you can hide them in the view, but if you eliminate something, it's going to be eliminated from the whole model. Okay, so, you know, again, all of these are going to be a little bit different. You need to kind of make some decisions about what you want to show, what you don't want to show, what you want to hide, what you want to make transparent. But anyway, maybe your model will look something like this.